welcome to 2020. It's January 10th and it's one of my favorite days of the year. It is Houseplant Appreciation Day. This year we're kicking it off right with a lot of lovely houseplants and a lot of new things that we're going to be doing out in the garden center. We're going to be focusing a lot on new hands-on projects like Hypertufa, which is making your own pot, and Kokedama, which is a Japanese art of wrapping plants in moss and tying them with string. Sounds a little complicated, but it's really not. So that's what we're looking forward to in the first parts of the year. Stay tuned. So we're going to talk about a few of the most common houseplants. One of the most common is a Pothos. Most people see them and they generally run on and on and on. They get very viney. They're very easy to take care of. They clean the air and they're very, very resilient. They are a native of the tropical forest, so they are an understory plant, which means they don't require a lot of sun and they don't require a lot of maintenance. They're very easy to take care of. Another option that is a great houseplant is a peace lily or a Spathiphyllum. They get these beautiful white flowers and they are absolutely wonderful for oxygenation in your house, and they wilt when they want to have a drink, and boy, you'll know it. Sanseveria is a fantastic houseplant, commonly known as mother-in-law's tongue or snake plant. They come in a variety of different colors with stripes, and sometimes they have a pattern on the leaves themselves. They also come in cylindrical form, which are really cool and very rigid. They are extremely easy to care for. They do not require a lot of sun. They don't require a lot of water. They're something that you can put almost in the dark and get a good plant as a result. We also have Christmas cactus. Christmas cactuses are native to Brazil. They're a very easy care plant. Unlike a normal cactus like these here, this particular cactus really wants more water. It wants to have a humid environment because of where it's native to. So this one does really well if you set it on a bed of pebbles and you keep water on the pebbles. As long as it doesn't touch the soil and make it super wet, they'll do beautifully. They bloom when they have a light and dark at about 13 hours of dark at night, and temperatures running somewhere between 50 and 55 degrees. As a houseplant, normally you're going to see it mostly green until the weather starts to turn. Right here we have a bowl full of cactus, regular cactus. These are all desert cactus, so naturally they're going to take very, very little water. When watering cactus, you want to think about their natural environment. When it rains in the desert, it comes down fast and furious and then it's gone. So that's kind of how you want to water your cactus at home. You want to water it till it runs through and then just leave it alone, usually for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then water it till it runs through and leave it alone again. Most plants thrive on consistency, so that's what you want to try to do. We also have some topiaries. This one is a Lavendar Topiary. It's a beautiful soft gray green. Topiaries are made by allowing the plant to grow and then clipping the branches off as it grows to create a stem and allow it to become woody. This one's actually already in bloom, so it's got some beautiful purple flowers on it. You're going to take care of this just the same way you would take care of lavender in your garden. You're going to keep it slightly damp and just let it do its thing in a bright window. This is a Cyclamen. Cyclamens are a winter blooming houseplant. They are actually a corm, which is similar to a patty pan squash looking bulb. They don't like to be overly wet and they don't like to be overly warm. They prefer to be in temperatures somewhere between 55 and 60 during the day and 50 and 55 at night. If your cyclamen is too warm, it will stop blooming. You want to keep them fairly dry. They're very prone to botrytis, which is a mold that forms on the inside. So you want to keep it dry and keep it comfortable. This is one of my favorite kinds of plants. This is an air plant. If you can take care of a pet rock, you can take care of an air plant. Air plants like to be soaked in water or sprayed with water. If you're spraying them with water, you're going to be doing it more often. If you're soaking it, you're going to soak it for about a half an hour, maybe once a week. If it's really dry where you live, you want to soak it for a little bit longer. They are what is known as an epiphyte, which means they actually live in the trees and don't require any soil. Eventually, you will see at the bottom, they will throw out some air roots, which are basically anchor roots to help the plant stay in the trees. They're very simple to take care of. They're very cool looking. They come in all kinds of colors and sizes, and most of them do bloom. So now we're going to do a very quick terrarium bowl or cactus bowl like this one, and in this particular instance we're going to use lithops. Lithops are also called living stones. They're a native of South Africa. They require very little water. They split in half every time they grow, so you get this weird looking thing that goes on, and they do bloom. They usually come out a beautiful sunshine yellow. When they're happy, they bloom. So we're going to use this brownstone pot for these lithops. This pot has no drainage in it. There's no holes in the bottom, which makes it kind of perfect for these plants because they really don't need a lot of water, and they also don't need a lot of space. So as long as you don't overwater these, you'll be in great shape. The soil that I'm using is cactus soil. The reason cactus soil is different from any other soil is it contains more sand. If you have a potting soil at home and you want to have cactus, what you can do is add 2 cups of soil and 1 cup of sand to the mix, and that'll lighten it up quite a bit. If you're going to be using beach sand, please make sure that you wash it because it contains a lot of salt and that can kill your plants. So now we're just going to put the plants in. It's easy if you turn them upside down and squeeze the pot, the plant comes right out. And there's a good start to your dish garden. At this point, you can even out the soil and add some top dressing as we have on this cactus over here. You can use any color of sand or stone or whatever makes you happy. You can use seashells, but you want to get the plants in first and then put a top dressing on them. This is one of the terrariums that we've been making here on the farm out in the garden center. And this one contains 3 separate succulents. They're very easy to make, and in fact we're going to be having several DIY terrarium days where you can bring either your own glass or buy glass here at the farm. We'll have all of the plants and all of the things that you'll need to do to make it, to include the activated charcoal that goes at the bottom of your terrarium to keep down molds and mildews and rot in your plants, the soil, the top dressing, and the plants. The first thing you're going to do is going to put in your charcoal, then your soil, and then you kind of have to manhandle your plants in here. For those of us with large hands, you kind of end up feeling like a T-Rex because your little hands don't fit all the way in there, which is kind of fun. It adds a dimension of struggle to it. We use a lot of plastic spoons, which allow you to get behind the plants and put the material in, and it'll take you somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 to 20 minutes to make a terrarium.